We make our choices and take what comes, and sooner or later, in ways we can't always fathom, the consequences come back to us. Hello, welcome to How to Play D&D, the explainer podcast with one experienced dungeon master and one failed script writer to discuss D&D topics. My name is Kinsey, and my fully functional guest this week is none other than Daniel Marsh. And that was a direct quote from the heart in a certain video game franchise.
Oh yeah.
Marshy, what topic are we covering this week?
At long last, I get to yap for an hour straight about Dishonored.
Let's get to it. Okay, so today's episode is on Dishonored in D&D. The last time I was Dishonored, I had to have 413 pieces of Lego removed from my anus. Marshy.
Is that pie?
Actually, maybe that. No, is it 300 and something?
314, yeah, that's right.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't do maths. That's why I play D&D. Marshy, if I swap the liquids inside of every Coke and Diet Coke can in my local shop, am I serving justice? What am I doing?
I think you're killing a lot of diabetics is the problem there.
Do you know what? It's the aspartame, not the sugar, that's getting them. So, you know, know the facts if you want to save your life. All right, to the real questions then. The reason why we're here today, the reason why you Dishonored listeners are listening, not
How
because
very
you like.
few of you are.
Yes, probably you.
Just me on repeat.
And a guy in Spain.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to him.
Okay, please do.
He's not going to understand any of it.
Amazing. Okay, so why do you think Dishonored is a great choice of world to play D&D in?
First off, it's a setting that already has magic established.
Okay.
So a big problem that I've seen, one just in like Wizards of the Coast D&D, but also in a lot of homebrew worlds, is struggling to find a justification for magic. A lot of people, when they build a world, like Wizards of the Coast does it with the Weave, and the Weave exists everywhere. But a lot of homebrew worlds, people are like, oh, there's this artifacts or whatever. They'll make something up. Thankfully for me, when I wrote my Dishonored campaign, magic already exists, and it comes from a realm called the Void.
Okay.
So that was already very handy, because if anybody wanted to play a magic user, I could just say, okay, here is a justification for you having magic. People aren't going to like that you can do magic, but you can do it. But it was also like, it's a very grounded setting, despite if you've played it, it doesn't feel grounded at all, because it's like Industrial Revolution Britain.
Okay.
Is the inspiration for the first game.
Even if you're not British, it's kind of a period in time that people can visualize as a bit like Cowboys and Indians. Like people actually get the timeline wrong with what Cowboys and Indians are, but like the people can visualize it and associate it to be like a world they know, right?
Well, that's what I feel like when a lot of Americans played the game, that's what they think London is like now.
Yeah. And London as a country.
Yeah, of course. So you're getting it.
Yeah.
Why it's so good as a setting to introduce people, well, to England and to D&D. All sorts of like there's already all sorts of factions that exist, countries, city designs, tons of maps available online. So there's minimal effort, and I've actually got here where I've got my map. I don't know if this will show up well on camera.
Oh, bring it forward a bit.
Is it coming in?
No, back a bit. Sorry, if you're listening and not watching, Marshy is showing.
Damn you, green screen.
There.
You're getting flashes. You can pop.
There we go. There we go.
This is Dunwall City, slightly amended from the official maps. Dunwall City being the capital city of Bristol, which is the heart of the Empire of the Isles, the setting of Dishonored.
Okay, well, we're going to get into.
There's an awful lot. Yeah, move on to the next question.
So just quickly before we get into it, why then? We've said like, why is it a great choice? Why did you select it? Because from what you've just said, you've run a campaign in this world.
I already have.
Is that why you ran that world?
These were good things I realized after I'd started writing that campaign.
And players joining you, is that because
never played it before?
So it was completely fresh to them.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So third question, what elements of the franchise were really important to nail down? like to nail down the lore and complexity of the world,
Mm.
like what parts that were like really important to like transfer to D&D?
I would say for my campaign, because in the without going into the lore of the games too much, because I've got with me, well, there's 3 games. I've got me the 3 novels that they've got, the 6 comics that they've done. I've got everything with me.
Hardback,
And I've got a
hardback.
hardback copy of the last 2 comics. There's an awful lot, but the first game is set during a time of plague
Okay.
at the heart of the Empire. And I had written my campaign to be post-plague, but there's very much still the effects. So much like how now in 2025, very topical, some of us are still very worried about COVID, but a lot of people are rather dismissive of it, and people are still getting sick. And 5 years ago, it was all we could think about. That was very much what was going on in my campaign. I chose it because I had just replayed Dishonored. I had just beaten Dishonored 3 for the first time. And I was like, you know what? I'm fully immersed. I want to write a campaign about this. And we're getting to a point where the campaign I was playing in was nearing its end. So it couldn't have been better timing.
Yeah, okay.
And it all just fell into place. But the things that I needed to nail down were the politics of the world to get it true to the lore. And there is a character called the Outsider, which is like the god of Dishonored.
Okay.
And without giving too much away, because I think you do learn this in the first game, and it's a very old game. I'm not giving you a spoiler warning.
I think it's about 13 years old.
It's very old at this point, as far as games go. The Outsider was once a boy, like mortal human, but became a god. And so I was able to work that into the history that I put into like the books in my campaign. I was able to work that into the politics of the ongoing like power struggle in the city, and have him being around as a justification for magic and like a warlock patron for one of my players.
So he's got his fingers in a lot of pies.
Yeah. If I couldn't play the Outsider right, it would have messed up the entire campaign.
Okay,
but
right.
Thankfully, I was able to sort that out.
Did you transfer stuff from D&D lore into your Dishonored campaign, or was it literally like classes, ruling, the rest of it is Dishonored?
Well, so I don't. This is the bit that I don't have with me because my players have them. I adapted the D&D 5e 2014 edition classes to fit the Dishonored world. So like Warlock became the heretic because there's a religious group in Dishonored known as the Abbey of the Everyman, and anybody who worships the Outsider is branded a heretic and occultist, and they will hunt you down. So Warlock, who would be working with the Outsider, you're a heretic. Things like Rogue, I just renamed to Miscreant, so I don't have to call them Rogue as well. But very much the classes were the same, but like I would reflavor spells, I would change the abilities slightly. So I completely got rid of, like for example, Misty Step. And I think I spoke about this with you in a different episode. So go ahead and watch other episodes of my face in it, please. But instead I gave them this power called Blink, which you have in all of the games, which lets you teleport within certain bounds.
Like what you can see.
Yeah.
Like your kind of end periphery, right?
Have to be able to see it. There's some like varieties where time slows when you're picking a spot.
Right.
Somewhere you can like put a spot down that you want to teleport back to and activate it at a later time. Bunch of cool stuff like that. So I wrote all those in. But for like the setting was all Dishonored. A lot of the characters all Dishonored. But the engine was pretty much the same as 5e, barring those few changes.
Okay, so with that then, sticking to just briefly talking about your players, what kind of feedback have you had about the campaign, considering it's a setting people can visualize collectively? So say they've not played Dishonored, they hadn't heard of it, like you said, they can quickly Google Dishonored, and you can quite quickly, just from even like the artwork on these books and comics here, but the artwork for the games, which is actually very like famous, the first one at least.
They are gorgeous.
So they know.
Let me quickly find it as well. Keep talking.
So they know from that quite quickly like what they're getting into, right? Yeah. So Did you have feedback on that in the sense of were they like, I've really enjoyed this setting? Did they think that's what D&D was like from the get-go? Did they know it was like a reskin of
They
D&D set in a different world?
they knew it was a reskin of D&D and like a flavor of Dishonored.
Yeah,
None of them had played Dishonored before, but I had, and I've got these. I'll show them after
right.
to you in the camera. Photos from like the environment in the game and some of the characters in the game.
Do you know what? Because of the green screen, we can put them in the edit. So
That's
if you're listening
excellent.
and if you want to watch, same we'll take photos of everything that Marshy shows and put it in at the time stamp of
That's good.
when it's meant to be on
That's
screen.
good. We'll do that. So I'll show them to you so then that you can put them in the background as we
Yeah,
discussed. So I showed them some shots around the city of Dunwall, which is where my campaign took place.
right.
Um, like very gothic, very grey. So it was very easy to like keep everything. To be honest, being in Manchester really helped keep everything
Yeah.
visually easy to keep track of because we just looked out the window. It's like, oh yeah, that's probably true to what's
This
going
is
on
kind
in
of like
the
a Victorian England
yeah,
esque.
exactly. This is the outside, by the way.
Right,
Very
okay.
lovely.
Well, let's expand on the question
Yeah,
then.
yes.
So, if they've not played the game, they understand the world, especially if they just look out the window.
Yeah.
Let's stick with that for a second.
And they had all played D&D before, I think bar one. They
Okay.
picked it up pretty
So
quick.
to them, it's quite easy to just go. They've at least played games before to
Mhm.
go right. I can just as long as I get the rules, I can be in any setting,
Exactly.
and hope it's for me. And
Yeah.
obviously, it is for you. It was for them because they finished the campaign.
Yeah.
So are there other similar worlds like Dishonored listeners can reference when world building? And then I'm going to go back to that previous question with a bit more to it.
Okay, so other worlds that I would think would be good.
Yeah,
In the same
the
way that
kind of
Dishonored was.
suit Dishonored.
Oh, you mean like different systems that would suit Dishonored?
No, no. So
Worlds that would suit
yes, it could be book,
D&D.
comic, game. Could be in D&D that people go. If you like, if people can say like, if you like Dishonored, that setting.
Mm.
Here's another setting like it.
Oh, see, that's a very good question because I don't know. See, Dishonored as a world is somewhat generic. Like, city in an empire with a plague. Start the game.
Like Victorian England, kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
So there's a bunch like what's the game now? You're in like a floating city and the game with the
Oh,
like big daddies, BioShock.
it's Bioshock. Yeah, yeah.
BioShock. I think if you like Dishonored, and you want to do something similar to what I've done with Dishonored in D&D, BioShock is an excellent one.
Yes, yeah, yeah, 100%.
And this is for me just watching like a Jacksepticeye playthrough of BioShock
Okay.
in like 2013.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I haven't played the games, but
They are very good.
so I've heard.
As someone who grew up from when they started,
Hmm.
and I was like a teenager to the last one, and being like of an older age, and still seeing like that through line of like how they work consistently is nice.
Yeah, I think that world would be brilliant. One, just to explore as a fun game to play, but two,
Yeah,
for D&D. But I'm actually going to go on a slight tangent if you
okay.
allow me.
Yeah, yeah, of
Because you
course.
mentioned the books.
This is your episode. This is your episode.
Thank you very much. Because I had started writing the Dishonored campaign and I'd started the first session actually when I'd only played the games. And then I came across, and I'll briefly show to camera, novel one, if it'll.
Oh, we got novel two.
We've
There
got
you go.
right,
One.
I'll hold it in front of myself so it knows. Novel one, two, and three, which I got over the span of many months. And I can grab this big
If you're listening, Marshy is showing us
of comics,
all
which
of
are a
their stack.
nightmare to get because they only made them for about 2 years. So several of these I had to import from America at high cost to myself.
Did you show your players these?
No, and I specifically told them don't play the games until we've finished the campaign.
So it
Don't
didn't
read
ruin
anything.
kind of bits you're taking
Yeah.
from to fulfill that, to
Because
flesh out the world.
my world, and you probably see this later. I'll show you personally in my notes. The world developed a lot after I started reading these. Like one of my favorite characters that I put as an NPC, his name is Zhukov, which is the main antagonist in The Corroded Man. I will say these books very easy reads. Like you can give these to teenagers and they'll have a great time.
Okay.
I'd recommend them if you can get like digital copies. I don't recommend hunting for the physicals like I did.
Yeah.
But like reading the comics, there's new characters introduced. there's a concept that I didn't want to explore that was introduced in the comics. There's a whole time travel thing.
Right.
But like some of the characters from The Corroded Man, revisiting Dowd in the second book, who's the antagonist in the first game. I had an excellent time reading through these, like learning more about like their fighting styles and how their characters have a bit more depth than like the 20 minutes of screen time they get in the game. And then using that to build up the characters like that my players hadn't seen yet. So there's like I kept my players in the south half of the city for a good chunk of the game.
Yeah.
And then when I was ready, once I prepared the characters that I'd been reading about, and I was like, I want these in, then I let them go north.
All right. So going off further on a tangent, but sticking with what the players don't know, what you're holding back to use, what you don't want to explore, even if they had read these books, played the games. NPCs, Dowd, for example, you said in the game he probably gets 20 minutes as the antagonist.
Yeah.
He's got a whole book here.
Yeah.
And you'll take it from that. Is Dowd an NPC in your world?
Dowd is dead in my world.
But
he's also an NPC.
And he does exist.
He does exist.
So people hear about him. Even if they don't know the games, they don't know the franchise.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna pick up things. People are gonna talk about him. Your world building, regardless of whether they know of that character on the franchise.
So because Dowd in the games and in the books, he's infamous. He is like the most famed assassin in history. He was known as the Knife of Dunwall. So from session 0, people in this campaign were hearing about like the fables of the Knife of Dunwall, hearing about like the history of 11 years before the campaign, how Dowd killed the previous empress, and it was the biggest killing anyone had ever seen. And the whole plot of the first game, again, it's an old game, no spoilers. You get blamed for the death of the empress, and you have to go and clear your name by killing off the aristocrats who hired Dowd to do the killing and blamed you.
Okay.
And eventually you fight Dowd, and you can choose to kill him or spare him. Canon ending spoiler, you spare him.
Okay.
But because he had all this history in the game, I made that history in the world for my players to pick up on from other NPCs' discussions, from books, from newspapers, from graffiti, if they like had high passive perception, that was like had a lot of fade from being like a decade old. Even like Dowd was the leader of a group of assassins called the Whalers, and they wore, and this is a real thing, you can Google this, whaling masks, and it's like a short top sort of gas mask, which protects people who hunt and harvest whales from like the fumes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they would wear this as their like disguise when they went out and did killings. So when Dowd died, I said, right, I won't have these guys be a big problem in the world, but I'll have 2 of them be left around, and I'll have them be just sat up, taking care of themselves in this one like tower that nobody goes in. And that was like a mini boss that was completely optional. They didn't even have to know to go in there, but it added some depth to like, if this was just 2 people from his gang, who the hell was Dowd? Because that was a difficult fight, and I made it a difficult fight. So when they finally got round to, like, I used the corpse of Dowd in like a reanimated clockwork soldier. When they came face to face with this like mechanical version of Dowd and his soul was bound to it, there was genuine fear on their faces, and I made his AC 20.
Right, okay.
So when one of them got a 19, I went, does not hit. I think there's a photo of Lars, and I'll show you after. It might turn up on here. And he's like,
yeah,
he's horrified. One of the best NPCs, and he barely got any time in my campaign either, like actually with them, just from all that background work I was able to do.
Yeah, okay. I think that's a really good answer. There's a lot to play with there. Those 2 whalers that are kind of still existing, even if they weren't a combat scenario, the fact that, to me, joining into that campaign, if I was a player, not knowing Dishonored, not knowing who they are, they're just NPCs that if I wanted to be annoying and wanted to talk to them for absolutely no reason, and the DM's going, I'm just trying to flesh out the world here, they actually had something to go on. Like, you had a backstory to give them that. And that's a really good point to make with these episodes where people are selecting topics where they're kind of covering franchises, how you can transfer them or genres is like they're so good to use as an already made world or a bit of a Wikipedia to flesh
Oh
out the
yeah.
world that you're creating. Unless you're literally just doing it word for word, you know,
Mm.
reskinning Star Wars, and it literally is guy finds out he's a Jedi, guy goes fights his dad.
There's nothing wrong with doing that.
Absolutely not. But it comes to it's always good to and we talked about this in an episode the other day with Nomadic Bard. Is he was in a campaign where the DM every time the DM watched something new on Disney, the campaign would become that. And so there was never the story was never actually what it was from the beginning because it just kept changing. So it was like fun, but like you could almost predict that when a season of something would drop on Disney, that was what your campaign was going to be next week.
Oh,
And so you can
that's an
see
easy way to cheat.
it's an easy way to cheat, but I don't know how far you can get with like world building and lore once that season ends.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so there's a middle ground. It's down to like DM and players kind of like ambitions, I'd say. Like ambitions to be like take it further rather than just copy and paste someone's homework.
That is actually. I'll only add a little to this because I know we're on a tangent of a tangent of a tangent.
It's what we do.
It is what we do. If you're just doing like this was a very good starter homebrew because it like the franchise had long ended.
Yes.
Like
Okay.
even the last comic which came out, I think. I mean, it's got the date on it. I think it's 2017.
Yeah.
So at the time of writing, when I was writing this, it was 7 years old.
Yeah.
Everything had all been done and written and closed off.
Yeah. Nothing was changing in that world. That say mid campaign,
Yeah.
a new release happens and it completely changes what has been set up for the last 7 years.
Exactly.
You know, in the franchise, say like the Void actually is discovered to be different. That's a
It's
nightmare
not
if
gonna
you're trying to, yeah.
So I say if you're listening to this and you're wanting to do a homebrew of yourself based on something like this, go for a franchise that's done because you've got a complete wiki. You've probably going to find a dedicated Reddit fandom, and you're going to be able to pull out whatever you want from it and have all of it be like trackable and make like logical sense because someone's been paid to have it make logical sense.
Yeah, someone way more like of an expert. I mean, they're literally hired because they're good at it.
Yeah.
Right?
Whereas I think if you want a bit more of a challenge and you're a bit more strong creatively, go ahead and do something where there's not much out there yet.
Yeah.
And put your own spin on it. Because you could always do like an inspired world.
So we'll go back to what you said about it being grey earlier. This is why I was going back referring to the previous question, I guess, because we went on a bit. Was the tone of the franchise as a whole is bleak, very grey and politically charged. Do you think? I mean, do you know what? I've not played the third game. I played the first two because they were out when I was like that age of like gaming is everything, you know. Do you think this is for everyone? Like, did a conversation have to be had before starting the campaign? Did those things? Did they leak into your campaign? Probably on purpose, because obviously they're so. If you know Dishonored, then you know that these things are a part of it. They're like they make the world. So to take it and then not have them is like a missed opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Did players know what they were getting in for?
Yeah, I will say, with retrospect, because I'm currently in a Curse of Strahd campaign, if I were getting a new party now, I would tell them this is Strahd Light.
Okay.
I'd say that's like the expectation you'd go into this with. Make your characters accordingly. I put out like my feelers for players to about 4 more players than turned up.
Okay.
Because I was ready for some to reject it.
Yeah.
And some of the characters I got given back absolutely would not have fit in. And some of the players were not dedicated enough for the weekly game in a grim setting like this. And like any setting, I'm going to have a bit of like levity. I'm going to have some. It's not all going to be grim and politically.
There's moments.
Tense.
There's moments.
It has a good flow. But I went into this and I said, there is a good chance your character will die. If they die, there's a good chance your backup character will die. Make a good build. I'm happy to help you. Have a good backstory. I want it to like link into the world. I want this city to feel like you live in it.
Right. Okay.
And thankfully, my players pulled through because only one of them was like from a part of the Empire completely detached from Dunwall.
Right.
The rest of them were like, well interwoven into the city or to the politics or to the big bad.
Did that player that wasn't in like the like here and now, their setting is outside Dunwall or their background. Did that work as like a mysterious stranger kind of piece of like they don't know the area or people are a bit like oh there's something about them that kind of plays into their role play.
A bit. I mean, I've spoken to you about this player before, and they were the one who was like new to D&D at the time.
Right. Okay.
So they weren't really like the mysterious stranger in the group, but they were like everyone else played like human or elf or half elf in their like 20s and 30s. This guy played a dwarf in his 70s.
Right. Okay.
From a country far up north, so he's like bushy beard and very like adapted to the cold, and he'd been in prison a lot because he went to a lot of protests, and protests got beaten down a lot in that country. A very politically charged setting. So he turned up, but because of the politics in the city at the time, it felt like he fit in the city very well. He could fit into any party very well as just this is a guy we've met and he's cool, we're having him.
Yeah, yeah, and he's on the right side of, and by right side I mean like the party he's joining have the same values
Yes.
as him
Yes.
as to what they're trying to achieve here.
Yeah. It wasn't like when you say mysterious stranger, I can't help but think of like the Fallout mysterious stranger, someone dressed in a trench coat and being suave.
No,
he was not that.
Yeah, no, they're kind of like the stereotype. Well, not that. That's not the word, but like
the cliche.
The cliche is just someone who's not from here and that they say little words, and they who knows their backstory, and they're that they are literally mysterious. No one knows them. They could be anyone. Are they dangerous? Just not the unfamiliar is like what kind of makes their character, their archetype. Archetype was the word I was looking for.
To be fair, I did kind of remove the unfamiliar, at least within the party, because I wanted them to mesh well from day one.
Right, okay.
The worst thing I can think of, and this is my biggest gripe, and it's the thing I come back to when people are making characters for my campaigns, I say, I don't think that character has a reason to be in this party. Work on that.
Right, okay.
So session 1, all my players had been arrested. So session 0s, I played through their arrest individually.
Right,
we did one-on-one sessions. Session 1, they were all on a prisoner transport ship taking them to Dunwall, how they got to the city. And on the ship, after they had escaped and fought their way out, were the warrants for their arrest and their rap sheets.
Okay, so it gave...
So everyone knew what everyone had done.
Very nice. I mean, there's a really good way to kind of reveal why people are here.
Yeah.
Without them having to have that slow conversation, everyone else kind of wait around the table to...
Exactly. So then it was like, get up and go.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. So I've learned that our choices always matter to someone somewhere, and sooner or later, in ways we cannot always fathom, the consequences come back to us. And that is Dowd the Assassin.
I do think that was either the DLC from the first game, at the end of it, or in the third game he turns up as an NPC, as an old man.
Okay.
And I think that might have been from the third game. I'm gonna have to look these up afterwards.
You have to
see
look
if I'm
them up.
right.
Can DMs and players learn from the writing of this franchise and incorporate that into their own games and play styles?
Absolutely. One of my biggest things with Dishonored, and I love it, is the world building and the environmental storytelling. I'm a big nerd for environmental storytelling. All through all of the games, you'll see wanted posters for yourself and other characters in the world. You'll see graffiti. You'll hear conversations between citizens and between guards and between cultists and witches and criminals. And it will tell you, I will say, if you're playing the games, play them slow, look around, pay attention, listen in, because you'll learn so much about the world. And that was what I took into it. So, like I said before, the things to learn about Dowd were literally painted on the walls in sewers, and they'd eroded over 10 years. And there were conversations from people in a bar that they didn't necessarily have to go into, but if they went in and they were quiet, they would hear this conversation on the other side of the bar. and they'd learn something about what's going on in the city.
Mm.
Or they would, if they were hiding from, at one point there was a session where they were hiding upstairs, whilst downstairs the Abbey of the Everyman had busted in because they knew they were in this building,
Right.
and they could hear the conversations between the overseers, who are like the enforcers of the Abbey of the Everyman. They were hearing the conversations between them as they were scouting like the downstairs of the building. So I really went like throw everything at the wall with environmental storytelling. I didn't want to tell them what was going on. I wanted them to go out of their way to find what was happening and have it be everywhere they look. I'd say if you're writing a campaign, if there's ever a point where your players are asking, can I roll perception? Always have something for them to learn. And that's what I took from Dishonored, because no matter where you look, like even if you're only looking at your own wanted poster, you can see your list of crimes change throughout the game as you like lop off more targets. And you can see if you do a particularly bloody version of the game versus a more peaceful one, you can see how that reflects in like the reward on your wanted posters.
Right. Okay.
All of that matters. All of that changes. And it is a lot of work to do that. So if you don't have the time to do that, you want a more casual game, even just doing like Dishonored has a chaos system. So the world responds to how you play. If your players are just going around murdering everything, have the world react. Add monsters that wouldn't otherwise be there. Add like some supernatural things. Have people respond to your players differently. Like one of my players was disfigured, but because he played the game quite nicely, not many people were that fussed about it.
Yeah. Right.
But if he had been like quite a vicious murderer through the game, I would have had people like constantly commenting on his appearance and being like running at the sight of him.
Yeah. It's a bit like adds paranoia to
Yeah.
from their perspective.
And like these are things that like I lifted straight out of the games.
Right.
I'd really recommend people do that.
Okay. Well, my next
type of thing.
my next question was how could DMs utilize the world of Dishonored in their own games? But you've accidentally kind of just smashed through that question.
There we go.
This is sadly the last question. So we've really gone through Dishonored. So feel free to. Well, I'll go through this and we can talk about this because I'm sure this question will last a while.
Probably.
Is Dishonored the setting you'd pick as your forever campaign?
I would say yes.
Okay. Would you play it as a DM again, or would you like to experience it as a player?
Is it bad that I want to say both?
Would you be gutted if someone didn't do it right?
Absolutely.
Is that why you'd be?
That's
why
I want to be.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to get it right. But also, I'd love, like I told you on the last episode we did together. Excuse me. I'd love to experience it as a player,
right?
Because I know the world very well. And obviously, I don't want to metagame, but because I know the world very well, if I know that the person DMing it knows it as well as I do, I will know how best to traverse the world and like reward the DM for the effort that they'll put in.
Right, yeah.
If I had myself as a DM, I think DM me would be very happy with player me playing it how I want to play it, if it makes sense. But
because you're putting all that effort in, and someone will
get it,
will be able to tick all those, but understand the boxes you've put there for them to tick.
Exactly,
they're not missing anything.
Exactly. But would I pick it as a forever campaign? Absolutely, because it's so big.
Okay.
Like I got 18 months of a good story, and I wrote like 2,000 years worth of history for my players, and they were just confined to the city of Dunwall.
Yeah.
They only left the city once, and it was when they went through a magic like gate using whale bones, to like punch a hole in the world to get to a manor just outside the city.
Right. Okay.
Besides that, they were always in the confines of the city, and this is like London for England.
Yeah.
They were only in London.
Yeah.
But the rest of Europe is there, and they've not explored any of that. Like I'll show you if I've still got the map up. Here it is, and we'll get this up in the background here. So here is Bristol. There, somewhere around here is Dunwall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there. Then you've got Tivia, Morley, and Serkonos. I think in the second game, I think actually in the second and third game, you're in Serkonos.
Okay.
But only like you're in one city in Serkonos. which feels it feels like a cross between Spain and Italy.
So
But like Morley and Tivia never get explored.
So this
in the book.
let's think about that. Going back to the world building question earlier,
Mhm.
and you've done it in your piece as well. That it's in Donwell,
Mhm.
and you've kept it in that, and it helps the confinement of that because that's what the first game is anyway, right? And the
Yeah.
second and third is Sykonos. Obviously, these people who are making these games are like way beyond our level of world building, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're at least paid for it and are being paid for their time to do it, whereas the average person doesn't have the time
Mhm.
to even get to that level. Um, is it better that it got to just be set in one place? Did that mean it was easier, ignoring the fact that you had law to go off of?
Mm.
But was it better playing this, like running this campaign, knowing that this was the restriction, and from that you can build upon it? You know that like when if you head north, it gets to this point,
Mm.
and south only needs to describe until this point, and everything in that needs work.
Yeah.
Was that easier because you knew that there was a restriction to it? It wasn't an infinite.
It was a lot easier because on the one hand, like people love a big setting because they get to explore.
Yeah, yeah,
But for the style of campaign I ran, I'll say I'll swap it from campaign to adventure because campaign suggests multiple long adventures with your
yeah.
team with your players. This adventure, and I'll give you a photo to put on the green screen afterwards. They started here in the old waterfront, and so it was very easy to keep the politics of the story contained to the city. They didn't have to worry about the politics of the other countries
Yeah.
because they were only in this one place. So they weren't worrying about wider impacts. But it also meant I could keep them on rails without feeling like they're on rails because they got here and all these dotted lines are like barricades in the city that are guarded.
Right.
So they get to this district and there's things for them to do. And narratively, there's a quest that takes them here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they go to this district and there's things for them to do. And then there's something over here. So they cross all the way over and there's things for them to do. And then there's still half the city left. And I've kept them on a narrative trail on this like story on rails. And they've just been feeling like they're exploring the city.
Yeah.
So it was very, very easy for me to say this happens and this happens and then this happens as like the big grand plot. The players get to decide everything in between these big
Right.
bullet points.
So it doesn't feel it's linear, but that it's not like on the nose linear. They're
Yeah.
not feeling like they can't go to a certain place when they want to explore.
Exactly.
They've already got enough to do.
If they were really chaotic, they could have gotten to the old waterfront here and session one being like, I will swim across this river to
Yes, yeah,
the
yeah.
other district in the north, and I would have had them roll, and the dice could have decided that they were Olympic swimmers.
All right,
They
yeah.
could have
Okay.
made it. But they know, like, because of the way like I gave them the quests and the way the city was set up, and this isn't even like a thing I've done. Like these barricades, they're called walls of light. They exist in the games.
Right.
Very handy to lift and put into my campaign as well. It added like a linear narrative that doesn't feel linear. Because like, I need to go speak to this person. Where are they? They're over there. I will go there. Oh, there's more things to have a look about.
Yeah.
It's felt like when you play Skyrim, the first thing you need to do, someone says, "Oh, go see the Owl in Whiterun." And then
Yeah.
you go explore Whiterun, and you get a few more quests, and that gets you exploring the rest of the area. Very much that same concept. So keeping them in the city, very good thing. If I were to run more adventures in the Dishonored universe, I think I would. I might even have recurring characters if my players would like, because I really like some of my players' characters. But I would probably do a major city in each country.
Yeah.
And then, as like a long one, have them pick the characters they want to be for like several years and have them just explore the entire empire.
Right. Okay.
But even outside of the map that I showed you, the Empire of the Isles, off to the east, I believe, there is something that is referred to throughout all of the games as the Pandician continent. And it's a place where like whales are 20 times larger than they should be,
right,
and known as leviathans. And there's animals on this continent that will like can't even comprehend. They will butcher you with the breath. It's like a horrifying place. But the natural philosophers of the world want to go and study it and learn
Mm.
So you see all these expeditions go out to Pandyssea and very few people come back alive to top the tale. I think that Pandyssian continent leaves a lot of open space to write and explore for something like that.
Yeah.
It's left a mystery on purpose
Yeah.
by the writing team because your brain fills the gaps.
Sounds to me like Volo needs to do a sequel to his book, A Guide to Monsters,
Oh yeah.
but in the Dishonored universe.
Because they don't even tell you like what monsters are there. Just people are horrified.
Right. Okay. Well then, I think that was a shorter episode than I thought it was going to be.
I don't know. I feel like we've been here a while.
We've covered a lot. I mean, if people want more of this, then when this episode comes out, put it in the comments. I'm not going to be that guy who's like and subscribe, but I am so far all these like kind of longer episodes. It's so interesting to like not hear advice or give advice, but to hear how someone has gone about playing something or inputting something. So I think there's always room for more questions down the line once we've kind of reevaluated what we've said.
Oh yeah, and this is definitely like my hyperfixation enough that if anyone listening to this just wants to talk Dishonored with me, message me in the Discord. I will, yeah.
And yeah, we have a Discord, so there we go. All right then. Well, to end us out with the outro, no silly topic for next week. A bit of a quote here. It's one a shame. You're absolutely so happy the fact that I don't have to say something horrible. So am I. It's one of my favorite single player games of all time for its unique dystopian steampunk-esque setting. The art style is fantastic. The lore is rich if you go looking for it. You don't need to ask people what life is like living in Donwell. The story is fantastic and sad. Your personal choices directly affect the outcome of the game, and after that story in a way. I like how there's a way to spare absolutely everyone's life, no exceptions. You can just let everyone be and take back your honor. The concept of whale ore is very interesting. I love the architecture of the city. Living in Edinburgh myself, I see this city wherever I walk. Lol. That's the first time I've ever said lol, and probably the last time I'll ever say lol.
Yeah, it's not.
There aren't many perfect games in my eyes, but Dishonored comes close. It certainly has its spot on my top 5. And that was and another thing I didn't think I'd ever be able to say, Motor Tentacle on Reddit responding to the 12th anniversary celebration post for the original game, which was now a year ago. I found that early and I thought it'd be nice to end with a quote with someone kind of summarizing their time.
Oh, yeah. But you could easily go into like the Steam reviews are excellent as well because they're all like, oh my God, this is just what it's like living in England.
Yeah, I really, okay, yeah.
Like, England Simulator 2025 is what they're all like saying.
But yeah, I thought that was quite nice because the post was someone saying, wow, it's 12 years. It's like it's Dishonored 1's birthday. And this guy, everyone's put quotes and nice things, but this guy really summarized it in quite a quick way. But was also a bit surprised by what, and then ends with a joke. So, that's what I aspire to be. Motor Tentacle, if you ever get to hear this, I aspire to be you on Reddit someday.
And also Motor Tentacle, it's in my top 5 games as well.
There we go. So there's 2 of you. Two of you. Okay, and as always, thank you for tuning in. And if you like joining on the D&D action, then please follow us on Instagram at HousePlayDND or check out the link in our bio to join our Discord server to talk to Marshy about Dishonored and other things that are D&D related. And also check out Black Mark Clo on Instagram for cool D&D clothing. Marshy, where can we find you?
You can find me in the Discord. Just tag at Marshy. You can find me on Instagram. Kinsey's probably going to tag me in a post sooner or later.
100%.
You'll find me on the story.
I always tag you. Yeah. And collaborate.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere on Black Mark and on the podcast Instagram.
Everywhere. We literally can't get rid of them. I've been Connor Kinsey.
And I've been Marshy.
Good day.
Good day.